I'm back with another educational beauty video, and today's video is how to do this kind of work look. So it's for work. This is a makeup look for work. But what I really wanted to also add into this, which is what I've done, is to kind of like show you products which are really easy to use. This is a very easy look to recreate. Sometimes it's not just about the technique. Sometimes it's also about the product. Like, are these products multi-use? Like, can I use them on other areas of my face? And that's what I really wanted to kind of focus on, is bringing you the technique that I'm going to be using, but also showing you the products that are really going to help to make your life easier and make your whole look so much easier as well. And things that you could also take to work with you if you wanted to. Maybe later on in the day, you're going to another meeting, you want to kind of deepen things up or freshen things up. These are products that you could take along with you, which are really easy to use and just going to make it so much quicker in the mornings for you. If you do like this video, please do give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel and hit the bell button so that you never miss any of my future videos. Don't forget, I'm over on Instagram too, so make sure you head over there. We've got reels, we've got unboxing, a bit of everything going on when I'm not filming for YouTube. Let's get into this video now. Okay, so I'm fresh-faced. As much as I am fresh-faced, I would not go out like this. So this is me with no makeup on. I do have my skincare on, but no primer or anything. Now, I am kind of like showing you this look, not just for the finished look, like I mentioned, but also for the fact that I want to show you things that are just going to be easy for you guys to actually use for work. So let's get started. The first thing that I'm going to use is just add some primer. I'm going to use my Milk Hydro Grip, just kind of a little pump of that. And I'm just going to smooth this all over. There you go. I don't usually use primer, I'm going to be honest, but I know that a lot of you guys do and you prefer it. And so if I were to recommend a primer, this is the one that I would recommend. It's very tacky on the skin. It kind of really grips hold of your makeup. We are now going to basically do another little bit of priming. This is actually lip priming. I'm going to be using my Nude Sticks Nude Screen Lip Primer. I absolutely love this because I just love the fact that there's a SPF for your lips. So this is SPF 30 and this has a very subtle tint in there. You don't actually have to use, like on its own. You can carry on putting your lipstick or whatever you're putting on top. So yeah, just so that you know, that does have a little bit of a tint in there. Okay, next up, I'm going to be applying a little bit of concealer on my eyelids. So I'm just going to use my Tarte Shape Tape and get my beauty blender and just buff this in to the eyelids. There you go. Now get a powder puff, your setting powder. I'm using the Makeup Forever Ultra HD setting powder in light banana, and I'm just pressing that on there. Now, obviously, one of the main things when it comes to makeup for work is that it actually lasts. I know that seems to be an issue for a lot of people when it comes to working in an office or just generally being at work all day. You worry, like, is it even going to last? So this whole process is me showing you how you can ensure that your makeup does last. Is easy to do, and you can kind of skip steps if you want. So you don't have to do this entire thing. Take what you want out of this and kind of incorporate it into your usual makeup routine. Look, at the end of the day, if you are working in an office or you're going to work, I am just going to assume that you just don't have time for underpainting, because as you guys may already know, I always use underpainting as a technique, a form of doing my foundation, because it gives you a really nice soft focus effect, and it also does last all day. You're not going to have time for underpainting. Underpainting is a little bit time consuming, especially when you're not used to doing it. You do become quicker and quicker over time with experience, but I really want to make this kind of really easy for you guys to do. So we're going to just be applying foundation in a normal way and concealer in a normal way. So let's move on. So we've already kind of prepped the eyelids. Now I want to do my base. I want to leave my lips and eyes and stuff till last so we can see what kind of goes well with the type of base that we've ended up getting. So what I'm going to do is apply my CC cream first. I'm using my IT Cosmetics CC Oil Free Matte SPF 40. So I've got my SPF on my face as well. The stuff is good for my skin. So it's actually going to be helping my skin throughout the day. So I don't feel like while I'm working away that, I've just got like gunky makeup all over my face and it's not doing anything other than giving me a flawless finish. At least I know this way I've got a flawless finish. I look good, but it's also looking after my skin and making my skin better, because because CC cream is really kind of like packed full of goodness as well. And I'm using my Sigma Beauty F47 brush. This is really easy to just kind of like apply your kind of foundation or CC cream, whatever you're using. My shade is Neutral Tan, and I'm just kind of like taking this all over my face and just giving myself a really nice kind of even base. One pump is usually enough because we don't want to like a heavy look, but it's really, really good because it's just packed full of nutrients, I feel like I said that weird, nutrients, and it's just good for the skin. So now we've got this all over, and don't worry, by the way, like when you apply this, if you feel like, oh, I still feel like I need more coverage, don't worry about it because we've yet to apply our concealer. So what I'm going to do next is use my Tarte Shape Tape. You can use whatever concealer it is that you use. I am going to just apply some of this on my under eye area here, just to kind of really cover up those dark circles here. And just a little bit here because I get a little bit of darkness there. Okay, we're gonna start buffing this in with the Beauty Blender. And you'll see how this actually ends up giving us more coverage in other areas too, because we're just kind of like spreading it out. You've got to make sure that you spread out your concealer if you're not underpainting. So if you're putting your concealer on top of your foundation, you've got to make sure you really take it into this, other areas, because otherwise it's just going to look like two kind of light patches on the under eye area, which you don't want. And obviously that is down to like the color you use as well. Like you want to make sure it's close to your skin color, but a little bit brighter so that you do get that brightness you want on the under eyes. Let's just kind of also buff these two bits in. Okay, I feel like the base is done. You can see how we've got some really good coverage there. Now what I want to do is get some kind of like depth in the face, so just a little bit more structure because obviously it's a little bit flat. I'm going to be using my Nude Sticks Nudies Matte. It's an all over face bronzer and this color is Deep Maple Deep Maple Air. I don't know how you say that, but anyway, this is a really good color because it's not too browny. It's like kind of a warm kind of chestnut brown. So I like the fact that it also almost feels like a blush on my face too. So I'm just going to kind of like paint this on in certain areas. So we're going to go from the top of the ear in, so kind of where we would contour really. And that's about it at the moment. Now the good thing is about these nude sticks, you have like the color on one side and then on the other side you've got a kind of brush, so it's really, really easy to use. You could take it to work with you if you want, so you can either use this or a sponge, so it really is about what you feel more comfortable using. But I really wanted to kind of just show you how this looks and how it works. See how we've got that color there now, and we've also, it just doesn't look so flat. And it blends in really, really easily. So you can see how we've got really nice kind of like structure there. I am going to go a little bit heavier because I feel like we can. And the good thing is with this brush, you can buff as well as kind of like drag back and forth. I like this. Now I'm going to use another product which is really easy to use. This is actually a blush tape from Tarte. This is a liquid blush and the shade is Peach. And I really like this because it kind of gives a glow to the face as well. And it's got that little kind of like sponge tip thing. We're going to just open this up there, squeeze a little bit through. Yep, I can see that product coming through. There you go. I really do like this because I feel like it just gives me that kind of like nice glow on the skin, but it has a hint of color in there. Now I'm going to use a beauty blender and just kind of like take this over the skin. There you go. I'm happy with that. See, I like this because this color isn't kind of in your face. It kind of just gives a hint of color to the face. So it's a really nice flush of color and it's glowy, which is great. Now I'm going to set my makeup and I'm actually using a different powder. You can use like the fact that I used a different powder on my eyelids is just purely because that's my set technique of how I kind of prep and prime the eyelids. So that's my kind of like my concealer with my powder to set it. That's just what I do with every single look, and sometimes I'll alternate between different powders for the rest of my face, purely because it could be that a different powder has a different kind of tone to it, whereas with my eyelids it's kind of almost like a translucent powder. This one is the light banana shade, so it kind of goes well with my skin because it's a little bit brightening. But for the rest of my face, you like sometimes I'll change up the powder just because the eye area is so small, so it doesn't really matter to me like whether I use that same powder on the rest of my face. So this powder is something that I used recently and I really loved it. It's the Givenchy Prism. I'm not even going to attempt saying that. It is a matte finish and it's kind of like a radiance boosting powder. You can use the colors like separately based on what you need, or you can use them together. I really do love this because you've got green in there, which is great for kind of like counteracting the redness. You've got a kind of lavender shade in there, a little bit more of a deeper lavender shade. And then you've also got like this really light blue. So all of these colors, even mixed together, are really good at giving you that radiance. So like really brightening your skin tone. So I'm going to be using this because it is very kind of like ultra fine. Just tipping this out. Got my veil brush and I'm just going to like make sure I pack on that powder. And now I'm just going to dust this over my face. Very lightly. And it's so light and like fine that even that kind of like that product that we used on the cheekbones, you can see it's still coming through. This is just a really good powder for like anyone wanting that kind of, it's almost like a finishing powder. It's very good at setting, just a light dusting all over the face. I do always make sure I go over the under eye area as well, because I obviously want to make sure that there's no creasing there. So you want to kind of like get your sponge, make sure that there's nothing sitting in those lines, and then really kind of press it in on the under eye area. So you can see we've still got that kind of glow kind of coming through, but we've set the face. So it's just a really easy powder to use. Okay, I'm going to grab my Benefit Goof Proof Brow Powder, and this is number 4, Warm Deep Brown. And I've got my Sigma Angled Brow E75, and I'm just going to very lightly kind of like shade in, or shape my brows really. I don't want a kind of obvious, like, I don't want it to be really dark, but I do want to shape them. So it's not really about kind of shading them, but just kind of like shaping them. Honestly, I feel like brow powder is just the easiest product to use on the brows. It's perfect if you don't have much experience with brows, or if you kind of like are not great with shaping. Just using an angled brush. It may actually feel or like sound difficult to you if you're not used to it, but genuinely, if you just try it, I can promise you it's so much easier. See how like we've literally just shaped that super, super quick. And that's it, that's more than enough. Now, I'm going to go back to my nude sticks, the Deep Maple A, whatever it is, however you say it. And I'm going to use this on my eyes now. So that's the great thing about these sticks, because you can use them on kind of eyes, cheeks, lips, wherever you want to use them. So yeah, let me grab a brush. Okay, I've got my E49 brush, and I'm just going to kind of like apply this on the brush, take some off on the back of my hand to make sure there's not too much product. And this is where I'm just gonna like maybe end of the eye, just drag it out a little bit, not too much. And then kind of like go over the lid. I'm not taking this into the socket because I feel like the minute you take it above the socket, it turns into like a full-on smoky eye. But this is just a really nice way of having a wash of color on the lids. So we don't want to go above the crease, but there you go. It's really subtle, but it's kind of nice for the daytime, you know. It's nice for work. You feel like you've done something, but it's not overly heavy and it's not obvious and in your face. So we start at the outer corner first because it gives us a good idea then how far we've taken it. And then all it is kind of almost finishing the beginning part of the eye. So it stops it looking too heavy and too kind of smoky. There you go. You can take it on the under eye area if you want to a little bit. Now curling your lashes is going to help a whole load because, you know, lashes are going to be too much. False lashes are going to be too much for work. If you curl them, then you can get a really nice kind of just shape to your lashes with your mascara. I'm going to use my MAC, is it called Stack? Yeah, my MAC Stack mascara. And I'm literally just going to take this through. This is a really good mascara because I feel like it's super quick to use. And you can actually like keep building it up if you want to. But honestly, I feel like it's one of the quickest mascaras to use that I have, because sometimes I'm just sitting there for ages just kind of like really trying to make sure my lashes look long and kind of like nicely separated, and I feel like this is one of those mascaras that kind of does it really easily. Like the fact that I'm already onto my lower lashes is just so much quicker. Now, you don't have to do anything like contour your nose, but I'm going to because I always do. So this is my Fenty 200 brush and then my Fenty Sunstalker in Shady Biz, and I literally just kind of like slim down the bridge of my nose. Just go on the sides of the bridge of the nose. There you go, and then a little V at the bottom, and that's like enough for the daytime for me. I'm going to use my Kevyn Aucoin Unforgettable Lip Pencil in Divine, and I'm just going to shape my lips a little bit, but honestly not strong, like not harsh. Just kind of almost feathering, and then I can use my finger to buff it side to side, and that stops it from looking so harsh. Now, I've got my Nude Sticks Intense Matte Lip and Cheek Pencil. This is in Mystic, and this is a really nice colour for the daytime. There you go, that's so nice, isn't it? I love it. So that's basically more or less it. You can see it's a really nice kind of very muted look for the office, for like work. You can add things to kind of spice it up a little bit. Like, for example, you could add a little bit of gloss to your lips, you know, so it's not fully matte. I do feel like the minute you add gloss, it takes it up a notch and like almost, you know, like then it's like, okay, I've got makeup on. I've got like full on makeup on. So I don't know what it is about lip gloss that does that. Maybe the fact it's just like shiny, I don't know what it is, but this is a kind of like look that I feel like is great for work because it looks like, okay, it looks pretty but not so pretty. Do you know what I mean? Like it's like a really nice makeup look. It's very muted. The colors, there's colors there, you've used something on your eyes, but it doesn't kind of look like, oh my god, wow, she's got eyeshadow on or she's got like contouring or anything like that. It's very subtle, so it just looks nice and your skin is actually still coming through this makeup. So yeah, this is basically my look. I really do hope you've enjoyed it, and don't forget that if you do like this video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, hit the bell button so that you never miss any of my future videos, and until the next video, I will see you soon.